hunter-gatherer or agrarian. The process of human existence often differs only in a mechanical sense. In the end, there remains the unalterable truth that life continues as a death-dependent process. Hunting's modern relevance. Since the human species first walked this earth, we have relied directly on wild animals for survival, for sustenance, for shelter, for warmth, for tools. Our ancestors were hunters. We have proven a resourceful species, having developed technology that has allowed us to replace uncooperative prey with compliant livestock, unreliable roots, berries, and nuts with predictable, cultivated crop yields. Many of us are free to choose to no longer hunt in the wild for survival, now that we have tamed the necessities of life. So, where in our modern world does hunting fit? Is hunting a frivolous and sadistic anachronism, as some would believe it to be? Or does the legal and regulated pursuit of wildlife remain a worthwhile activity? These questions are more profound than most people realize. The answers require us to wade into a complex amalgam of social, cultural, economic, and political values, and ecological realities. Hunters often ask themselves whether those who are generally in opposition to hunting have considered the full range of evidence, the facts and figures surrounding the activity. Certainly, hunting's contributions to conservation, the very actions that maintain the integrity and function of nature, are undeniably significant, though regrettably not widely known. Our persistent desire to hunt, even when we do not technically require it for survival, has resulted in an incredibly successful mechanism for conservation that continues to benefit a wide array of wildlife, habitats, and species, including many that are not hunted at all. Even trophy hunting, though very widely misunderstood and criticized, also directs much-needed financial resources to communities and economies that would otherwise have no means by which to fund conservation efforts, and while at the same time helping to preserve wildlife habitats and forestall their being turned over to agricultural practices far less tolerant of wildlife. Indeed, legal hunting in its many forms is often a primary source of revenue that pays for land to be set aside rather than developed. Where allowed, it incentivizes rural communities to see wildlife, and especially large predators, as a beneficial resource instead of a threat to lives and livelihoods. Revenue from hunting also supports the costs of management and wildlife enforcement, which ensure sustainable and fair harvest of wildlife and guard against illegal harvest. Hunting also provides lean, organic, locally sourced protein to hundreds of millions of people each year. Some genuinely need the supplement of wild resources in order to feed their families. Others simply recognize that wildly harvested food is a healthy choice, both for the human body and for the environment at large. Hunting also reinforces social bonds through the sharing of these wild resources. Many people who have never hunted or fished have enjoyed meals of wild protein thanks to the ability and generosity of hunters and anglers. Even when hunting far from home, hunters work to ensure that meat from their kill is distributed free to local communities and is shared with the local people they have employed during their hunting excursions. The debate surrounding respect for the lives and deaths of all animals is incredibly important. And hunting should and must be a part of this debate. Accusations that hunting is cruel and wasteful often stem from a lack of knowledge of the activity itself and its history of and contributions to wildlife conservation. However, the hunting world must also admit to its own failings. There are examples where respect for the animal is not demonstrated, and where sufficient concern for the manner of its death is not demonstrated. These circumstances serve to undermine public support and harm legal hunting in many ways. It is seldom in life that we encounter something entirely good or bad. An end to hunting would have far-reaching negative implications for both people and wildlife in many parts of the world. So, to individuals who are opposed to hunting, or who are simply wondering about its relevance in modern society, I ask you, before making judgments, please consider that though hunting may not be for you, it still plays an active role in the lives of millions of people, having great significance both culturally and as an important food source. Furthermore, hunting is integral to many conservation mandates and programs that currently exist at local, state, national, and even international scales. Hunter-gatherer or agrarian, the process of human existence often differs only in a mechanical sense. In the end, there remains the unalterable truth that life continues as a death-dependent process. We might reflect that all world fisheries are hunts, and that human life as we know it is inseparable at its most basic level from animal death, wild or domestic. Hunters and fishers are perhaps unique in the responsibility they take for their part in this inevitable equation of existence.